I now want to cover on how to set our geometry so we can't actually select it in our 3D view. So in other words, if I marquee select, it's going to select the joints and it's going to select the geometry. Neither of those things I want to select. So the first part here is making so I can't select the geometry. And to do that is that on each piece of geometry, I can click it override enables on and change the display type from normal to referenced. I don't want to do this on the individual pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on the group itself for geometry. I'm going to click enabled overrides, and then I'm going to say reference. Now, if I can still select it, I have something else inside my system. Now, I always seem to do this. My body geometry I have underneath here is actually enable overrides on, so it's overriding the parent on top of it. So if I click that off, now these override enables will allow our geometry not to be selected. Now, the joints themselves can still be selected. So I don't want to lock and I don't want to actually put these in reference mode, but I want to do is I want to make them actually hidden. So I'm just actually going to hide the group by hitting Control H, and all my joints disappear. We want to make sure that our IKs are invisible and any other type of back systems. So I'm actually selecting all my clusters and my controls, grouping them together into a back system GRP, and just hiding that too. Okay, so there we go. Make sure, see, like I got a couple IKs here that are popped up, and that's because they are actually parented underneath our clavicle controls. I can't just hide the clavicle controls, I have to hide the IKs on those. Those should be named too. I hide them. It's gonna be left clav IK. There we go. And those are set. Okay, so we don't see any geometry. So if I come into another scene and actually jump up into like our leg system, okay, this would be the same thing. So I would go through and I'd say, okay, well, the RFL system should be invisible. So I'm going to hide that like that. Our joints are visible, so I'm going to hide those. Because the IKs are connected to the RFL joints, they're hidden. Now, if you actually constrain them into the joints, then you'd have to group all your IKs together and hide them that way, which is pretty easy to find. So our last step here is making sure our geometry is not visible. Now I have the proxy and the body here. So I'm just going to do the proxy one because that's the one that's enable override and turn from normal to reference. And now I cannot select anything other than the controls. And that's exactly what we want to do. So you can go through all the systems, and if I pop up the arm, we could do the same thing with that too. So joints go away, like that, and geometry. Click, just reference. See, only controls. In this case, the IKs, let's make sure our IKs are hidden. See, this IK is not hidden. This one's a little trickier because it's inside a control. So I'm just going to go in here and just hide it. That guy should be left arm. Okay, I could just hide that. Click. There you go. And it looks like we got a shoulder in there too. Very, very picky with these, that we hide all our everything's named and hidden, because at the end of the day, everything needs to be really clean for the animator. The animator just needs to pick and go through and make sure everything is locked and hide and colored, and there you go. And there's your hiding your joints and referencing.